this is how it ends for one of the world's most wanted.
¿Usted quién es? ¿Cómo es su nombre? ¿Usted alias qué?
Otoniel.
Dario Antonio Úsuga, Colombia's top narco, a defiant drug lord, a global kingpin with a $6 million bounty on his head. Better known under the alias Otoniel and named the boss of the Clan del Golfo, Colombia's premier cocaine cartel, he was captured in a jungle hideout on October 23, 2021, after a massive manhunt. Hunted, busted, and paraded. Fingerprinted, photographed, jailed, and paraded again and again. Held like a trophy by a government ecstatic to finally get its top narco off its plate. The mob reporter here with the story of Otoniel, his incredible rise and ignoble fall, whose capture last week prompted the President of Colombia to jubilantly announce on national television an arrest he compared to the downfall of Pablo Escobar, who was once the undisputed global king of cocaine. Let me tell you about it. His end was preceded by an immense manhunt, a 7-year operation by the Army, Air Force, and police. Colombia's president called it the most forceful blow to drug trafficking this century, and it is an important achievement, one worth crowing about for the government, but comparing him to Pablo Escobar, that for certain exaggerates Otoniel's place in the global landscape. But let's not diminish it too much. In 1993, when Escobar was finally stopped, killed rather than captured, he was described as the wealthiest criminal in history. By contrast, the 50-year-old Otoniel surrendered once he knew the game was up. The government said he identified himself to soldiers and took off his shirt to show he had no weapons.
¿Usted alias qué?
Otoniel.
It seems the soldiers were expecting more of a fight. Military intelligence knew he traveled with 8 security teams that fanned in rings around him, and perhaps reflecting that, the mission to bag him was codenamed Operation Osiris. Osiris is the ancient Egyptian god of the dead. On Saturday, a strike force of soldiers and police, supported by 22 helicopters, swarmed his hideout in Antioquia province, in northwest Colombia, near its border with Panama. 1 police officer was killed in the operation. Authorities said Otoniel was found nearby in the bush. When he was posed by soldiers for their trophy photo, Otoniel was strangely wearing brand new rubber boots, which sparked suspicion online about the legitimacy of his jungle capture, which authorities dismissed. He was then flown to a military base in Colombia's capital, Bogotá, where he was processed like any criminal. Fingerprinted and photographed. Producing these memorable mugshots. He's now pending extradition to the United States. New York awaits you, Chief, and so does Florida. Both want to put him on trial. It'll be a big change of environment for him. Otoniel felt at home in the jungle of the North. It's where he was born and where he first took up arms, joining a guerrilla group when he was still a teen, entering the mess that is the Colombian conflict. An internal war with a bewildering array of factions, both hard left and hard right, all fighting each other and the government. It was hard to be sure whether they were using the drug trade to fund their feuds, or if their feuds were about controlling the drug trade. Perhaps it started as the first and morphed into the second. Over the years, with one group of paramilitaries or another, Otoniel rose through the ranks until around 2009, when he found himself as the head of what has become known as the Clan del Golfo, the Gulf Clan. Under Otoniel's leadership, it spread nationwide. Sometimes rival groups were assimilated, sometimes they were decimated, and sometimes they found ways to work together. By 2012, he was considered the country's top narco, which made him a global kingpin and one of the world's most wanted. In 2015, it became a government imperative to shut him down, and a massive task force was formed with more than 1,000 soldiers, police, and anti-drug officials, called Operation Agamemnon. It was unprecedentedly huge, and it grew to some 3,000 personnel, all trying to track down Otoniel. Along the way, they made thousands of arrests of his underlings and those who helped him. One of his brothers was killed. others arrested, as was his sister and cousin. But year after year, Otoniel eluded them. If they missed him, though, they often got his product. Like this time, shown here in 2017, when this immense load was found hidden in underground coves on banana farms near his stronghold, an historic 12 tons of it. This is Colombia's then president publicizing the seizure. I'm not sure Otoniel was having a great time on the run, though. Much of it was living hard on the land. Otoniel shuttled about a network of remote safe houses, rustic huts cut from the jungle, and campsites, traveling by riverboat, on foot, or by mule. Never in a vehicle and never using a phone. He avoided luxury, just living simple and quiet, lying low in the jungle, in hideouts and huts in remote areas, similar to the one where he was finally caught. And that's what you see here. Otoniel's last hideaway. As he hopped from hut to hut, he must have always been looking over his shoulder, always wondering if those with him were more interested in his safety or in a $6 million bounty. Terrified of being recognized, he avoided populated areas where there would be eyeballs he did not know, did not trust, or did not control. He kept dogs with him to alert him to anyone approaching. Sometimes when soldiers swooped in on one of his sites, they found only signs he had once been there, including orthopedic mattresses to help ease his back pain caused by a herniated disc. Try riding a mule through the jungle in that condition. Authorities apparently pinpointed Otoniel's whereabouts 2 weeks before his capture. Colombia turned to US and UK intelligence assets, including satellites, to watch him carefully, allowing soldiers to pierce through the jungle canopy like never before. By then, however, Otoniel's power was already waning, eroded by years on the run. In his 6 years as a fugitive, Otoniel's organization became diffuse. By necessity, its leadership decentralized. Every minute he squats in the bush, he got weaker, and every minute his rivals roamed the cities, they grew stronger. Operation Osiris, the mission to capture Otoniel, is certainly a blow to the cartel, but it is not as momentous a moment as the killing of Escobar. I noted earlier that Osiris is the ancient Egyptian god of the dead, but Osiris is also the ancient Egyptian god of the resurrection. Now maybe the government wasn't playing morbid word games, but Otoniel's place in the underworld will certainly be replaced. His cartel and others like it will soldier on, reconstituting under whoever climbs to the top of the heap, as Otoniel once did. In fact, as Otoniel attracted all of the attention, it drew a lot of heat away from every other narco. It does seem he still has friends in Colombia, though. After his capture, there were at least 2 firefights where military patrols were hit in the jungle. 4 soldiers were killed. The army released their names and photos. It was said to be retaliation for snatching their boss. Their boss. Still in name, perhaps, but from here on, likely not. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.